Video. We're going to do a cool little thing on sequencing interval pairs, and also just looking at one interesting take on this, on how to play this up and down the full extent of the bass. You can apply this to a 4-string, 5-string, 6-string, however many stringed instrument. You could also apply this to any stringed instrument itself, not just a bass guitar. Now, before we get going, let me just also remind you guys, if you want to support the channel, please like and subscribe here on YouTube. And also, if you want to actually support me as a creator here, I've got a Buy Me a Coffee account set up. The link is below in the description. If you want to contribute, that's really great. It helps putting the videos together. Quite a lot of time goes into making these, and I'm going to be doing a bunch of cool new stuff soon. So please support the channel, and here comes the lesson. All right, so most of you are going to be familiar with playing and practicing scales or modes using intervals. For example, if we were to take the scale of G major, but we were to try playing it in thirds, pairs of thirds, like this. So we go G to B, A to C, B to D, C to E, D to F sharp, E to G, F sharp to A, like that. Play a little more rapidly. Now, I'd recommend, if this is new for you, play this everywhere. So wherever you can find a G where you could play a whole octave. Here. That way you start to link up areas of the fingerboard and see, hey, I've got a whole full octave of G here, here, and here. Now, this in itself is a good little exercise, and you could also do this, you know, on a single string. Now, in the case of G major, I can't get more than an octave and then the fifth above here. Check it out. So I go G to B, A to C, B to D, C to E, D to F sharp, E to G, F sharp to A, G to B, A to C, B to D. Now, on some of my basses, I have 24 frets or 22, so you can go a little higher. So obviously adjust according to your instrument. If you're playing a 5, you've got a low B, start on a low B. You could do that idea in thirds up on each string as well. It's kind of a good little tweak. So that's kind of the first tweak that you can apply to this basic exercise in diatonic thirds. Now, the thing about that is you probably never really play those quite like that in a real playing situation. This would be very much related to just what you're just practicing to get familiar with them. But try reverse intervals. In other words, instead of starting on the pair like this and going low to high, even if you were to descend, we can play around with that. So another tweak is to do reverse the pair. In other words, start with the highest note in the pair. Instead of going G to B, we reverse and go B down to G. Instead of going A to C, we go C down to A. B to D, no, let's go D down to B. C up to E, E down to C. D to F sharp, no, F sharp down to D. You get the idea, right? So in other words, instead of going, we go. Do the same here. Here. Now, obviously you modify it depending on how far up the neck you can go. And of course, you could just pick a key, and here's our second little tweak. So this is what we're going to do. So you pick a key center, a tonality. In this case, it's G Ionian, G major. But I'm going to do this from the lowest available note on my instrument, which on a 4-string bass tuned regularly, going to be an E, right? So if I was doing this in a regular way, going low to high in each pair, I go E to G, and I'm still in G major though, but my lowest note in the available key of G is E, the 6th degree. So I go E to G, F sharp to A, G to B, A to C, B to D, C to E, D to F sharp, and so on. Now, we could run that all the way up to the highest note, which on my bass in this key is a D. All right, so I could go. So all I did there was play all of this in the key of G major, but from the lowest available note, an E, to the highest, my D, you see? And you can do the same in reverse, right? Okay? So, that's kind of fun. That way we're starting to see the whole key that we're in a full range way from lowest to highest. I like that a lot. Now, of course, we could apply that with the reverse thirds idea. So taking those pairs of thirds that I showed you in the initial part of this lesson, but we play the highest of the two notes first. In other words, instead of going E to G, I go G down to E. So instead of going E up to G, which is a little easier, we think G back down to E. Then we think A back down to F sharp, B down to G. Let me demonstrate that slowly. Now, of course, if we want to play that further along the neck, keep going, now we have the challenge of where do we shift? There's multiple ways on the bass to shift because we've got often 2, 3, 4 options to play the same note. For instance, we've got 4 places to play this G. That G, here, here, here. 1, 2, 3, 4. You see? So lots of options sometimes. So I gradually want to climb up the neck, usually. That's what I'm going to do, sort of a diagonal fashion. Watch this. Now, I'm thinking ahead. I can go, but I don't want to get to the top C, well, top C with the top C in this position, this C here, and then I got to climb all the way on one string maybe. So maybe when I get to D down to B, instead of playing E to C here, I go, why don't I go E to C here and stay here. And then I'm thinking go to this D, and I could go, and then, see what I mean? That's pretty good. It was quite a smooth way to go up. Maybe here to, maybe then to here. You see what I mean? There's multiple options. Or maybe you do want to test yourself on the G string more. So you go, I'll stay down here. And now, of course, as we do this, we're doing extended fingering sometimes when we're playing those major thirds on one string. I'm not a massive fan of doing that down here because it's such a huge stretch, but for the sake of the exercise, this is okay. So I'm not really trying to pretend I'm going to incorporate that into a line playing like a massive interval down here. Up here, though, this can be quite a cool thing because you can sometimes get these really nice effects when you're playing, especially with an arpeggio. You can sometimes get these cool effects. It sounds sometimes more fluent doing that, even though it's got a big stretch. So sometimes we do use extended fingering, but that's a whole other lesson I'm going to get into because that might be a really good one. Let me know in the comments what you think. So we've got reverse pairs of intervals, right? Instead of just going, we go. When you descend, do the opposite. So instead of going, try this. So let's try this slowly. Right. I just played B to D. My next pair of thirds in G major is A to C. So I could go, but I could go, watch this. Down to A, C here. You see? See? Now, these can actually be very musical to use in a line, like those third sequences. And there I was alternating. So here, what if I'm going like 2, A minor 7 to D7, 5, into G major. Right, and I play on that G major, play something like that. I also put in a sneaky, some might say cheeky, sharp 11. I went to G Lydian. Give me that kind of sharp 11 tension on the 1. It's kind of nice, right? Right? That makes it sound like real music. So we're taking an interval, a third that we kind of got inside a little more deeply today. Don't forget to check out rufusphillip.com. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. See you on the next one.